in the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula, where the jungle breathes secrets older than empires and the stone pyramids whisper the names of kings long gone. A fierce resistance flared in the 16th century. It wasn't led by a massive army, nor did it come from one of the towering cities of the classical Maya. It came from a man whose legacy burned bright and brief, yet fierce enough to challenge the might of the Spanish crown. His name was To speak of Nacanec is to speak of the final flames of Maya independence, a spark of sovereignty that refused to be extinguished. His name might not appear in most history books, but among the descendants of the Maya and the scattered oral traditions of the Nacanec stands tall as a symbol of pride, resistance, and dignity. When the Spanish conquistadors swept through the Americas in the 1500s, their arrival was marked by steel, fire, and plague. They toppled mighty empires to Mexico in the central highlands of Mexico. The Inca in the Andes sought to do the same with the Maya. But the Maya world was different. Unlike the centralized kingdoms of the Aztec and Inca, the Maya lived in a network of cities, each with its own ruler and distinct traditions. Though the classical period of towering cities like Tikal and Palenque had waned centuries earlier, the spirit of Maya resistance remained unbroken. Nacanec was the Halak eunuch, the supreme leader of the Maya city of Zotud, one of the few territories in the Yucatan that remained fiercely independent during the early years of the Spanish incursion. Zotuta was not alone. Other city-states, like Mahoney and Tixcacab, had been forced to surrender or were manipulated into alliances. But Nacanec and his people remained defiantly outside the Spanish orbit. For him, submission to a foreign crown was not only dishonorable, it was unthinkable. The records we have of Nacanec come primarily through the eyes of his enemies, Spanish chroniclers, who misunderstood his world, downplayed his resistance, and mocked his defiance. But even within these biased accounts, the strength of his will shines through. In 1541, Spanish conquistador Francisco de Montejo de Yungara attempted to pacify the Yucatan by calling a grand meeting of Maya leaders. One by one, the rulers came forward, offering tribute and pledging loyalty to the Spanish king. They saw little choice resist and be destroyed, or submit and survive. Nacanec, however, refused to attend. When emissaries were sent to his court, he did not offer gold or feigned loyalty. Instead, he sent back scorn. According to Spanish records, Nacanec made clear his disdain for the invaders. He asked, "Why should I, a ruler in my own right, bow to a man across the sea whom I have never seen?" To him, the Spanish monarch was no god, no supernatural figure. He was simply another man, uninvited and unwelcome. Montejo was not amused. Determined to crush this final holdout, he led a column of Spanish soldiers towards Zotuta. But Nacanec did not wait passively. He rallied his warriors, men who had grown up in the shadows of jungle temples and trained in the traditions of their ancestors. The Maya, though lacking firearms or horses, were expert in ambush tactics, using the dense forest as a natural ally. When the Spaniards arrived, Nacanec set a trap. He extended what appeared to be an olive branch, a staged welcome, a promise of peace. Montejo's men were invited to a feast, but the invitation was a ruse. The moment the Spanish guests lowered their guard, the Maya struck. Spanish soldiers were attacked and slaughtered. Only a handful survived to tell the tale. Among the captives taken by Nacanec was a Maya noble who had allied himself with the Spanish man named Nacanec. Saw this betrayal not only as treachery to the Maya cause, but as a spiritual violation. And so, in a chilling act meant to send a message, he sacrificed Pat in the traditional Maya manner, tearing out his heart as an offering to the gods. To the Spanish, this act was barbaric. To Nacanec, it was justice. A man who had betrayed his own people had no place in the new world Nacanec sought to protect, but the message was clear. Zututa would not be conquered quietly. Unfortunately, the Spanish responded with overwhelming force. The might of empire came crashing down upon Zututa. Montejo returned with reinforcements and artillery. The town was burned, the resistance collapsed, and Nacanec, like so many heroes of his kind, vanished into the jungle, either killed in battle, executed by the Spanish, or disappeared into legend. And yet, Nacanec's story didn't die with his defeat. Among the Maya people, he became a symbol of what it meant to fight back, not just with weapons, but with dignity, with defiance, with an unwillingness to bow to a power that offered only subjugation. In resisting the Spanish, Nacanec resisted erasure. He rejected the idea that one empire's god could overwrite centuries of culture, language, and identity. Today, the memory of Nacanec lives on quietly in the towns and villages of the His name is not etched into grand monuments, but it survives in whispered stories, in local folklore, in the quiet pride of a people who never forgot him. His resistance, though ultimately crushed, proved that dignity could not be conquered. His refusal to bow reminds us that not all victories are won on the battlefield, some are carved into the soul of a people. In many ways, Nacanec was the final spark of the independent Maya warlord. Reminder that even when surrounded, even when outgunned and outnumbered, a people can still choose sovereignty. They can still choose pride. He wasn't just a war leader. He was a cultural warrior, fighting for the soul of a civilization. And in this light, his story joins the ranks of indigenous resistance leaders across the Americas, those who refused to vanish, who refused to forget who they were. Nacanec's fight may have ended in fire and ruin, but it burned a memory into the heart of you, a memory that says, we were never conquered willingly.